Hello, Linda here from Barlates Body Blitz and little mini eating and light refreshment. Today we're doing another train and talk. So this is the talking version of this workout. If you prefer just music, go to the YouTube channel and choose that option. We are going to be doing a mat workout. So all on the mat using a mat, a resistance loop if you have one, and a step bench to elevate some of the exercises, which is optional. I'm going to put my mat on there to soften it for my knees. We're going to be focusing a lot on form today, so I want to make this workout more about teaching you how to engage with your body so that you get the most out of each exercise, because that is definitely something that is really important going forward, especially as we get older, making sure that we're doing things with correct form so we're not injuring ourselves. So the talking side of things is definitely going to focus on the form and on which muscle groups we're engaging, but I also want to talk a little bit about getting into a flow state. So we're going to add that in, sprinkled throughout. You don't need your loop straight away, just come into a seated position, and I want you to roll your shoulders down and back. I want you to pull your belly button in and a tall spine as if you are up against the wall. Now bring your arms out to the side and flex those hands, and all we're going to do is start pushing out and around. So it's as if you're pushing something away, rotating through the shoulders, out and around. So lots of shoulder mobility in our upper body work today. It's weightless, but you're still going to feel the burn. Around and around. Every time your your elbows come in towards your waist, I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Let's go for 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Now come back out, and I want you to push across and out, push across and out. So here you're twisting through your waist and you are trying to get your arms as close together as you can. So every time you push across, you should feel your waistline as well as those shoulders engaging. Across and across. Let's do 2 more like this. Now stay on this side and just push across and out a little bit faster. Every time those hands meet or come close together, squeeze your chest. Squeeze and out. Squeeze and out. 4, 3, 2, 1, and other side. Flex that hand. Squeeze and blow out as your hands come closer together. Squeeze and blow for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Fingertips on your shoulders. I want you to start rotating to the back. Now, as you rotate from the shoulders, your elbows are going to move, and then I want you to start moving through your entire upper body. Keep your hips stable, but just allow your body to move. Often we are so stiff. We stand around, we sit around, we don't move in ways that our body can. And so our body forgets that we can move in all of these different directions. I want you to keep your belly drawn in, but don't allow your muscles to be stiff here. It's almost like you're allowing your body just to flop around a little bit. Feel how good that feels. Go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to come to the front, and we're going to allow our body to fall forward with a rounded spine. So you're rotating to the front and allowing that body just to move around and around. It's almost like you're tracing a figure 8 or an 8 on its side, an infinity symbol, around and around. Our spine is designed to be mobile. It's designed to move in different directions. So if you're constantly upright and straight and not really curving much, then you're not really using it to its full potential. Go for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Now we're going to do some chest openers. So you can come back to that flexed arm position. I want you to cross, round back and push your hands forward. And then as you open, push your chest through and slightly bend your elbows to the back. Now other arm on top and push. Round through the spine, arch. Round and slightly arch. Forward and then pull your shoulder blades together. Breathing out as you push back. Really stick that chest out. Moving in all directions, allowing that spine to be free. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Now round forward, and if you can, put your fingertips on the ground. I want you to round your spine, draw your belly button in. We're going to come up, straight posture and spine, and come down, round forward. Up, tap to the back, and round forward. Now if you cannot tap all the way down to the floor, maybe you're here. All the way around, straighten and curve. Straighten and curve. Straighten and curve. Deep breath. Up and in, down and out. Up and in, down and out. 4 more. 3, 2, last 1. Now both arms out, behind like we did before, and forward tap down as low as you can. Out behind, forward tap down. Out behind, forward tap down. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Now stay upright, and we're going to work a little bit more on our upper back. So stay in this position. Now palms are going to be up, and we're going to start pushing our fingertips to the corner and rowing that elbow behind. Behind, behind, behind. Let's go for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we're going to palms up, extend palms down. Palms up, extend palms down. Behind and out. Behind and out. Squeeze the shoulder blades, extend. Shoulder blades, extend. Stick your chest through. Deep breaths for 6, and 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Nice job. Now come to the front, and our palms are facing, and we're going to do really fast chops towards your ears. So now your spine is tall, your shoulders are down and back, your neck is long. Chop it past your ear. Chop, 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 chop. Nice long arms. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now palms up, and you're rowing behind and then extending long fingertips. Release at the top. Behind and up. Behind and up. Now go behind, cross, behind, cross, behind, cross. You can decide how much you're squeezing your muscles here, and that's going to determine how hard this is. It could feel really super easy, or you could be imagining you're pulling down the heaviest cable. Pull, release, pull, release for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stay here and just little rows behind. Release the hands and make fists. Row behind, row behind, row behind, row behind. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you've got an option of staying in this position, or if you have the flexibility, we're going to come up into this frog position. Now you can either have your heels up, or if you're able to come all the way down and sit down into this wide kind of squat position, then this would be ideal. We're going to do a few mobility moves here for the shoulders before we move on to our lower body. So from here, all I want you to do is stabilize this one arm and push back slightly with the back of your arm, so you're really opening up through the hips. We're going to tap and open. Tap our hands together and open. Tap and open. So if you're in cross-legged position, just touch the floor in front of your left knee or your right knee, and all the way to the back. All the way up. All the way up. Come on. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to sweep up and back. Forward, bend, extend, and sweep to the front. Forward, bend, extend. I'm rotating through my waist, trying to reach my arm diagonal back. extend. Breathe. I want you to try and breathe and really feel your body here. Get out of your head and just think, how is my body feeling right now doing this? How is my body feeling? Do I feel connected to my breath? Do I feel connected to my muscles? Just get out of your head for a minute and feel instead of thinking. 2 more. Last one. Now, if you can, heels of the hand together, open. Whoops, I'm touching my ball. And close. Maybe you're here and you're not all the way down on your heels. Maybe you're here where we were. You find a way to do it that works for you. Maybe you're back on your heels in that little frog position. This is so good for your hips. Push your chest through. Push your chest through. 6, 5, 4, 3. Are your shoulders warm yet? 1. Okay, now other hand by your toes. Push back with your elbow and the back of your arm. Hello, darling. And we're going to put our fingertips down and we're going to reach up and fingertips together. Up and down. Up and down. Mini, mini. And down. Really reach. And down. 4 more. Hey, darling. Hello. 3. Are you thinking about your body and not in your head? 2. And 1. Now we're coming down. Bend and rotate towards the back corner and then sweep it through. Bend, rotate. Now this one, I want you to feel like a bird flapping its wing. Up, rotate and through. Connect to your breath. Think, I'm doing something nice for my body right now. I'm making it move fluidly in a way it doesn't usually get to move. I'm using the full range of motion. I'm being kind to this vessel. How about 4? And 3. And 2. And last 1. So little cats, they're kind to their vessels all the time. All they do is things that they find enjoyment with, right? Things that feel good. You're not going to find a cat doing something that doesn't feel good. So all of these different movements that cats do, they're utilizing their spine, unlike us humans who are often stiff and upright and on edge and anxious, right? So we want to take an example from our little pets. So we're going to move on now to some lower body toning using our loop, and I'll show you how to put on the loop in such a way that it doesn't slip around as much. Put it above the knee of one leg, pull it and twist it, and then put it above the knee on the other leg. So I'm going to start the lower body section with my step. If you prefer to do it without the step, just on the mat, then that's up to you. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, we're back. So get onto your step bench, and you can either lie with your elbow on top of the bench, or if you prefer, you can lie with your elbow on the mat. In this case, you're going to be putting more pressure on here because there's more weight on there, but it kind of feels good to me. So this is where I'm going to stay, and I'm going to keep my hips lined up on top of each other, and I'm just going to extend my top leg, and all we're going to do is some really simple outer thigh raises. So in order for me to talk to you a little bit, Minnie wants to get on. Do you want to get on? Come on, you want to get on? In order for me to talk to you a little bit about the whole flow state thing, we're going to have to do some simple exercises where we stay here for a little while. Minnie wants to desperately get on this step. You can, but you're probably going to have to move in a second. So being in a flow state is basically being in a state where you're not anxious and stressed and in that whole fight or flight mode, right? So that's what I mean by flow state. You know when you're in it because you know it feels like everything's just effortless. You're able to remember everything you need to do. You're enjoying your everyday life. It's not tedious. It's not kind of like your heart rate is up and you're feeling anxious. You're just in this place of flowing from one thing to the next, where ideas come easily and where you're just generally in a joyful mood. Let's go into a knee and extend. Now I'm slightly coming lower than the step bench and extending out. This is going to add up quickly, so I'll tell you a secret. If you move the band up higher, it doesn't hurt as much, okay? But it does curl up a bit. Anyway, just come with me. Down and extend. Your hips are still in line. So when you are in that place, you tend to just be able to ease through the day. Ease is a word that comes to mind. Things just happen with ease. It might not be easy. You might still have to do something that's tough, but it's not in your mind, it's not built up to be this negative thing. You do everything in a more effortless way, even if it's hard to do. And you tend to have more gratitude in your heart and you tend to enjoy things more, right? So we can all think of times that we have been in that flow state, that we have really enjoyed, days that we have really enjoyed, days where we're not really thinking so much about the past or the future, but we're much more present. Now let's bring our knees closer to the edge. You can either bring your heels up or keep them down, and we're going to do like a clamshell. So you might have to play around a little bit here with your body positioning, up and down, or if you're here, it's kind of a bigger range of motion. I'm letting my bottom knee hang off slightly, so that way when I'm tapping down, I'm coming a little bit of I have a bigger range of motion, okay? But it is a little bit awkward on that hip. Now, if your neck is starting to hurt being in this position, look diagonal down, okay? Or look at the floor a little bit to give your neck a break, or put your elbow up on the step. It will change the angle slightly. So yeah, being in a flow state is fun, right? And we'd rather be in a flow state, let's face it. We'd rather not have all of those stressful days where when something goes wrong first thing in the morning, everything seems to go wrong, one after the other, right? We all know those days too. And if we could choose, I'm sure we would much rather stay in a flow state. So let's go here, extend, down and down, up, extend, down and down. Is it getting hard yet? So how do we manage to get back in a flow state if things are going a little bit haywire and stressy for us? Well, I've talked before in a number of other videos about learning to regulate your nervous system, and really 100% that is what it's all about. If you are able to find a way when you're stressed out to self-soothe yourself, to be able to get back into a place where at least you're aware that you are in an anxious state, then you have the ability to just stop for a second and do some practical things that can change your physiology and help you to calm down. Up, down. This is hurting too much, so we're going to change it a little bit. Come up onto your hand. Not too much, but it's hurting just the right amount. And we're going to do inner thighs, so we're going to let that hang off a little bit. So you might need to come to the edge a bit more. Make sure you're not slouching, push out of your shoulders. Your legs should be able to come lower than the height of the step, and we're going to pull up from there. So whatever you want to do with the other foot, if you want it flat-footed or up on the toe, I tend to like it up on the toe for some reason. And I'm trying to turn my knee down towards the floor and my heel up towards the ceiling, and up and up. So I'm just loving using the step to elevate all of your traditional Pilates style thigh exercises, because you get that extra bit of range of motion, which makes it a little bit tougher. Plus you get that element of balance on the step, which means you're firing all your core muscles in order to stop falling off, right? So your brain right now is thinking, what's going on? I'm not used to this, and it's using so much more intention to keep you alive, basically. It thinks it's in a life-threatening situation, but it's not. It's not at all. So if you're able to regulate your nervous system quickly, then you can get out of that stress state, back into a flow state, and not ruin your entire day, right? Because how many times have we ruined an entire day just because we were so stressed and unhappy and depressed and anxious in the morning already? So if we're able to kind of stop it in its tracks and apply some little principles, little practical steps that help us to stop. Let's go in and extend out. That help us to stop and just become more present again. Then we're able to break that cycle, right? So what are some of those things that we can do? And I've talked about many, and what I want to preface this whole discussion with is everyone is different. Just like everyone's different with exercise, not everyone wants to be doing this right now. Not everyone wants to be on a step with a figure 8 loop torturing themselves right now, right? Most people would rather go on a treadmill, or they would rather lift traditional, heavy weights or whatever it is. If you show this exercise to a lot of people, they'd be like, what the heck? Hell no, not for me, right? So you are already proving to yourself that you are a unique individual that is on the same kind of wavelength as my crazy. So thank you, first of all, for doing my videos and following along with me. But yeah, so I'm just trying to show you that everyone's different. So everyone is different with exercise. Let's change sides because I'm going to forget what we did. Everyone's different with exercise. Everyone's different with their taste of food. Everyone's different in so many ways. And so the same thing goes for regulating your nervous system, up and down. Make sure your hips are stacked on top of each other. Push out of that shoulder, tummies are in. So some ways of doing it is get out in nature. Funnily enough, the birds and the bees and the trees don't have any trouble regulating themselves. Their nervous systems and I don't know what the flora version of nervous system is, but they've got something going on. They've got fungi and all sorts of stuff, networks underneath the ground. So they've got some sort of nervous system, right? They don't have any trouble with that. And somehow, when you get around that energy, that beautiful, natural energy, it helps to regulate you as well. So some people, all it takes is a walk out in nature, stopping, looking at the beautiful plants, looking at the beautiful birds. That could be it. Or perhaps for you, it is meditation. Finding 10-15 minutes is all it takes to kind of become present in your body. Follow a short video. I like to follow a yoga nidra video. Bend and extend. Bend and extend back in line. Try to come lower than the height of the step. I do 15 minutes, 20 minutes of yoga nidra, and that is basically where it's a non-sleep deep rest, where you're just lying there and she takes you through a body scan and helps you to kind of get in touch with your breath, set an intention, all of these different things. And it's so super relaxing that whenever I do that, if I've had a stressful time, if ever I just take 15 minutes out and do that, I'm telling you, you come out of it in a completely changed physiological state. And she's even got 10-minute ones that I've done before, and it's enough. So that works for me. There's other people that like to do physical exercise, like really full on, like boxing or something like that, just to really elevate their heart rate and change their state. And that works for some people. It's totally fine. Let's go to clam now. Hang off the edge a little bit, and then it's up and down. So either this option, or if you want to elevate your shins, it's harder. And remember, you can be looking down. You don't need to look at me. You can do whatever you need with your neck in order to feel comfortable while we're doing things that are uncomfortable, comfortably uncomfortable. So yeah, it could just be really full-on physical exercise, even just doing 20 push-ups or however many push-ups, sit-ups, something to increase your heart rate, maybe to just change your hormone levels, because exercise changes your hormones. It could be something totally fun, like putting on your favorite song and just dancing around like an idiot without anyone watching. That could be it. That could just flood you with endorphins. It could be cuddling your pet, because they have this beautiful way of releasing oxytocin in humans, especially if you love them so much. And just by them purring, if you've got a cat, you're getting all of that extra oxytocin that makes you happy. And that may itself be enough to take you out of that stress state. So now we're going to go extend, down and down. Up, extend, down and down. What else can you do? Take a power nap. I mean, sometimes people wake up grumpy from a nap, but it is possible to have a power nap and feel better and wake up in a more calm state. Up, down, and down. Let's go 4 more and then we'll go for inner thighs because my neck is getting a bit sore in this position looking at you guys the whole time. 2 more. Up and straighten, down and down. Up and straighten, down and down. Okay, come up. Extend the leg out. Make sure you're on the edge of the step. You want to have your leg not in line, but kind of diagonal out. Do not slouch, push out of the shoulder, tummies are in. Up on the toe or not. Maybe hold on with the other hand, just up and down. The first few reps, you're finding your positioning, and that's fine. Does not have to be perfect. I just want you to be able to feel it. Knee to the ground, heel up to the ceiling, up. Up. What are some other ways? Creativity. Doing something creative. I love doing crafty things. I used to do a lot of drawing, a lot of painting. Anything creative takes you into a different space because think about it. Back in the day, you're hunting animals and a lion comes. You're not going to be stopping and doing some stone wall paintings, right? You're definitely not. So if you are doing something creative, you are signaling to your body that you're in a safe space. Okay, otherwise you wouldn't be doing that. So another thing might be cooking. Who knows? Maybe creatively cooking some beautiful meal, eating some delicious food. Maybe have some dark chocolate or, you know, it's healthier dark chocolate or whatever your favorite treat is. Just sit down for 5 minutes with a cup of tea, some dark chocolate or some cake or whatever, something that makes you really happy, and just be present with that food and enjoy it. Find something that works for you to change your state. Just do not keep pushing. Do not keep pushing and pushing. When you're in that frenzy, when you're in that anxious state, and we all get there, don't keep pushing on. Please just get to the point, bend and extend. Please just get to the point where at least you recognize that you're doing it again. You're doing it again, Linda. What are you doing? You know you were really happy and chill and in a flow state yesterday, and this one little thing has gotten you all out of sorts, and now you're allowing your entire day to be run by this stressed persona of you. That is not the true you, but it's this stressed version of you that once something goes wrong, you feel like you need to control everything else in your day and cling to it as tightly as you can in order for other things not to go wrong. And guess what? Just being in that state, you are not going to be making the decisions because you're not in that relaxed place where you can really think clearly. When you're in a stressed place, you're in fight or flight, all your blood is rushing to your extremities to run away from that tiger. It's not going to your brain to be thinking about planning and how to streamline your work, or, you know, what's the best kind of thing to do with the kids after school. Whatever it is that you're supposed to be thinking about, you're going to make a mess. Why do you think it is that everything goes wrong? Because you're in fight or flight and your brain can't handle it. Now, I think that was this the last exercise we did for inner thighs? I think so, because I just need to change it up because I think I've been talking too long and just kept going with that last one. Okay, are you ready? We're going to do some glutes, not too many, and then we're going to move on to abs. So we're going to come onto the step. Once again, if you prefer your hands on the ground, you can. I'm going to keep them up on the step for this. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my knee in. So this knee is turned in and the other knee is to the back. Push out of the shoulder blades. And I want you to diagonal push to the side and then twist and push to the back. Push to the front, twist, push to the back. Internally rotate the hip, externally rotate the hip. Always coming back to that center point. Look at the ground in front of you. I don't want you looking at me now once you see it. Keep your chest and your shoulders straight. So yeah, you're much, much, much better off taking 5 minutes. Breath work is another one I forgot to mention. Learning how to breathe in such a way that signals to your body that you're in a relaxed, safe place. One of the ways to do this, which is supposedly the most effective, is 2 breaths of air in through your nose and 1 long breath out through your mouth. Okay, so 2 in through the nose. Doing that 5 times is going to calm you down, is going to signal to your nervous system that you're not in fight or flight anymore. And that is definitely one way of helping you get out of your head and get back into a flow state. And from there, you can make those wiser decisions to see how the rest of your day is going to pan out. Do 1 more of these and across. Now come back in, and we're just going to come up 1, 2, 3, and then back to hip height. 1, 2, 3, push up and down. 1, 2, 3, release. 1, 2, 3, release. Tummies are in. So being up here, already engaged before you then go up again, is fire, right? Let's agree with that. But it's controlled fire. So the difference between allowing your stressed persona to run rampant and choosing to put yourself under controlled stress, like exercise, that's hard, is the fact that you're controlling it. It's called hermetic stress, and you are doing it deliberately. It's things like going into cold plunges, it's things like saunas, you know, doing really difficult exercise. Controlled stress can actually help you to deal with uncontrolled stress better. Okay, let's go 4 more, and then we're switching to the other side. 3 and 4. Ouch, the burn. Okay, I'm just going to switch around so I can look at you. So yeah, if you are able to do some controlled stressing to your body, then it will help you. Let's go into the internal rotation, out, in and back. So now internal rotation with the hip, then external rotation and cross back. Diagonal front, diagonal back. Once you see it, look at the floor, push out of your shoulder blades and back. Tap each time. But that's a story for another day. I think the first step is definitely just figuring out when you are in a stress state, and then eventually, hello darling, yeah, you can come up here, and then eventually getting to the point where you can change your state. And it's a process. It's such a, sometimes a long process, especially if your nervous system has been in a dysregulated and anxious state for your entire life, maybe since childhood. Maybe it was a coping mechanism that you really needed at the time to help you cope with a chaotic upbringing. And as an adult now, it takes a lot of rewiring of the brain and releasing of maybe childhood trauma that you may not even know is in there, in order for you to get to that state where you're able to just be in the flow and feel just happier and make decisions more easily and have a life that's more filled with ease, a more effortless life, right? And maybe this is a wake-up call for you to kind of go, it's true, I'm always in this dysregulated state. I'm always feeling very anxious. I often make unwise decisions because I'm so stressed. Why is that? Actually ask yourself, why is that? Because it's not normal, right? And I was like that. I blocked my emotions for so many years, thinking that that was normal, and I was wondering, why don't I have any emotions? Now stay here, come up, and it's already engaged. 1, 2, 3, back in line. 1, 2, 3, back in line. In some cases, you may need some help, and that's okay. We live in a day and age now where people are going to therapy as a preventative, rather than waiting until something goes wrong. I know couples that go to couples therapy when they very first get together. You know why? Because it's a smart thing to do. You're two people living in a broken world, and you're trying to navigate life It's hard enough on your own. Then you come together with another person and then you want to bring kids into the mix without any help. We don't get a manual on life. We really have to figure a lot of it out, but thank goodness people are waking up now and seeing that therapy is not something to be ashamed of. It's an amazing thing that we have access to, and maybe we need some help, and that's okay. It's okay to need help. I spent years and years and years always wanting to do things by myself. It was only until I got sick, or when I got sick, that I realized I needed help. And guess what? Life is so much easier when you realize you need help and you accept help. It's like, whoa, I don't have to do everything myself. Now I have energy to do things I really want, right? Go for 4, and 3, and 2. Look at this little cutie. And 1. Okay, come off the step. Let's just do a quick child's pose. Yes, Minnie, you have no idea, do you? You don't have to do all this stuff. You're completely happy with how you look, even with your flopsy bits. Okay, so we're going to do some abs. I was going to elevate on the step, and I still might do for a few of them, but because she's on there, if you're a cat owner, you know. If you know, you know. You don't move a cat, okay? If she decides to jump off herself, then okay. But I don't think she will, but she's given me some space. So come back in a second, take a drink, and we are going to finish up on abs. Okay, we're back. So I'm perched on the edge of my step because Minnie's taking up most of it. I'm just going to angle myself this way so you can see all angles. You can be more front on if you like. We're going to roll our shoulders down and back and then blow out all the air, C-curve our chest forward. You can either have your hands on the floor behind or on the step itself. And all we're going to do is start bringing our knees in as we slightly bring our upper body towards our knees. So I want you to have as little as possible weight on your hands. In fact, if you want to already take them off and start doing this, then you're not going to cheat. Breathe in and forward. Breathe in and out. Now, the more extended your legs are, the harder this is going to be. But we're going to build on it, people. We're going to build on it. Back and forward. So another thing you can do to help you with regulating your nervous system and finding it easier to get into a flow state is to find more times of joy. So when you're not particularly stressed, say you're feeling pretty good, you've had a pretty good day, use the opportunity of being in that happier place already to pump up the joy factor. Let's stay on one side. Now extend and in. Extend fully behind the knee and pull in. Push away and in. So this is going to work your quads as well because the loop is still on. If you want to take the loop off at this point, I get it. But we didn't do many quads, so this is kind of abs and quads. So pump up the joy by adding layers of things that you enjoy. So say you're in a good mood, you had a good day, and then you want to elevate your mood even more. Just think about something that you love doing and then go and do it. Maybe it's going for a walk with a friend. Maybe it's going for coffee and eating your favorite cake. Maybe it's exercise, other side. Maybe it's just spending time with a loved one, with your children, drawing with your kids, whatever your kids love doing, and you can watch them giggle and enjoy that moment. Whatever it is that you love, if you have time, and don't even kind of think, oh, I don't have the time. Make time. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Half an hour of doing something that you really enjoy. Pumping up that enjoyment factor in your day. Get greedy for finding joy. Get greedy for stopping and doing things that make you feel good. Because you know what? All our lives, we have been made to feel guilty about doing things simply for enjoyment, right? Especially as women. Okay, now hands behind the head. Deep breath in, back into that C-curve, and we're just gonna twist. We're gonna keep it really simple. Twist and bring that knee up. Keep your legs wide so that you feel the loop, because why not? Yeah, we've been made to feel guilty about if we're not doing something productive, about just doing things for the sake of the enjoyment of doing them. Why? Do you ever see animals in the wild doing anything because they feel they have to, doing anything because they feel that they need to please someone else? Like seriously, they do everything because it feels good, because they feel like doing it. So why can't we do a little bit more of that? And guess what? When we do that, let's stay on one side. When we do that, we're happier. And it may seem selfish at first to spend an hour a day doing something you really want to do, but guess what? When you're happier, who benefits? Everyone. Everyone around you benefits, right? You benefit and everyone benefits. So cut yourself a break. Stop being your own taskmaster. Stop being such a control freak of yourself and go and have some fun. Do yourself a favor. You know what else? Let's face it, people, if you are really strict with your eating 24/7, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, right? You are not fun to be around. You're that person that orders a salad when you go out. You're that person that says no to birthday cake at someone's birthday. Do yourself a favor, go and eat some cake. Go and eat that burger. Don't be that person, because you know what? I've said this before, diamond shape. I've said this before. Deep breath in. Now, reach and reach. You bring your chest towards, your leg is in a diamond shape and you're raising with your inner thigh. I've said this before, when you are constantly restricting yourself, constantly controlling, you are stressed. I'm sorry. Nobody who is constantly controlling everything they put in their mouth is in a flow state. Let's just face it, people. And when you're stressed because of what you're eating or what you're not eating, and what you could eat at the next event, and should you prepare a protein shake to take with you in case there's not enough chicken or enough protein, when you're thinking like that constantly, you are in fight or flight. Your body has extra cortisol. I promise you, there's something going on there. When you have extra cortisol, guess what? Let's stay on one side. Now reach across, twist away, reach across as you pick up that leg. When you have extra cortisol, your body pumps your body with glucose. When you have extra glucose, your body uses insulin to try and get the glucose out of your blood. When insulin is in your bloodstream, you cannot use fat as fuel. Guess what cortisol belly is? It's stress belly. Guess what's making you fat? Trying to eat healthy, trying to be really controlling with what you eat is making you fat. I know that's a very simplified way of saying it, but I promise you, other side, I promise you, loosen up, start eating for health, but also for enjoyment. Do something like maybe the 80-20 rule. You know, 80% of the time you eat what you should, 20% of the time you eat what you would. Do something a little bit less controlling and watch. You'll be happier. You might have 1 or 2 extra pounds, but overall, you're gonna be happier. And you're not gonna have cortisol belly, right? Cortisol belly is a thing. It's when you start gaining weight around the midsection a lot, it's because you have high cortisol. If you don't usually have it there, and all of a sudden it comes up, it's usually because you have high cortisol. Not always. Let's put our feet out, come up on your tippy toes. We're gonna reach. This is a really stunted motion. I want you to pick up the foot to the side. Now, feel your obliques here. Feel the obliques as you twist that little tiny bit. Now squeeze your ribs to your hips. Squeeze your ribs to your hips. Is this kind of similar feeling to when you do pretzel? Remember pretzel? So squeeze your ribs to your hips. So yeah, look, I'm not having a go at you. I've done all these things. I've done all these things I mentioned. I was a stress head about what I ate. I was a control freak in every possible way. I was the one that just kept pushing through when I was stressed. And I still do it sometimes. I'm not perfect. I still do it sometimes. But I'm a whole lot better. And I have applied simple little strategies to help me get out of my head and start feeling rather than thinking, and feeling when my body is dysregulated and when my body is tight and stressed, and stopping, just stopping, taking a deep breath, doing a 10-minute meditation, dancing around for a bit, putting on music I love, cuddling the cat, whatever it is, getting myself out of that physiological stress space and back into a little bit more calmness where I can think clearly. So that's it. This is it. That's all I wanted to say to you today. I hope it was helpful in some way. I'm sharing from my experience. I'm not a specialist. I listen to podcasts nearly every single day to help me understand myself better, and that's what I'm sharing with you guys. Definitely open for feedback. If there's more things that you can add to the conversation, I would love to hear. And I hope you enjoyed the workout too. I definitely felt a burn with this loop. Wow. It does make time fly though when I'm yapping on and on, right? So let's stretch a little bit because it's always good to do that at the end of a workout. Arm across. A little Minnie has been so adorable today. She's back sitting on the mat. She used to sit on the mat a lot in my old videos, and then she got out of the habit for some reason. I used to just sit on the carpet or wherever in her little box, but now she's back to the whole wanting to be really nice and close, which is cute. I love that. Up behind and pull up. Oh, that feels so good. Opening through that chest. We did a lot of chest opening today. Head side to side. Oh, yes. And then let's put our legs out in front. I'm going to move because why am I behind the scratch post? Legs out in front, deep breath in, and then just hinge forward. This stretch is not about rounding your spine. It's about keeping your spine flat and then leaning forward more and more until you feel the back of your hamstrings or legs stretching. It doesn't have to be low. Yes, some people can put their head all the way down, but that's not the aim of the game. The aim is to feel the stretch. And hang out here for a minute. Deep breath. Just turning into a donut. Bring the knee in. Both of your butt cheeks need to be on the mat. Sit up nice and tall and pull that in. Oh, feels so good. It's like the same sort of feeling as a pigeon pose or a figure four stretch. So you can feel the difference between this and a figure four. So the figure four, your knee is more out. Feels good though. And now extend the other leg and the same thing. So sit up nice and tall, pull in. Both butt cheeks are on the mat. If you take deep breaths while you're stretching, usually on the out breath, you can pull in a little bit more. Okay, figure four on this side. This is my dominant leg. So this side is always a bit tighter. Feels so good. Lean to the side and stretch the side body. And in front. And up. Rotate to the back. Other side. And that is it. Thank you so much for talking with me. Thank you so much for joining me for this train and talk. Thank you for listening and for seeing how cute Minnie is. She's always this cute. And I will see you again very soon for another session. Bye for now.